Good Friday morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, July 27th. Looking at our impacts for today, we are looking for winds, fairly strong, gusty, close to 30-mile-an-hour gusts in some areas across southern Idaho and the Snake River Plain, will be combined with low humidity and in areas that have received recent lightning. Similar threat for tomorrow, same area. Otherwise, thunderstorm coverage, a mix of wet and dry, but decreasing in coverage and shifting further to the south and east as the moisture begins to move out of the Great Basin. Yesterday, lots of lightning, again, mostly wet in most areas except for far northeastern Nevada, far northwest Utah, and a little bit into southern Idaho. These strikes were on the drier side. We did have another day of heavy initial attack. Looking at the last 24 hours, new fire starts in the red, existing recent fires in the yellow. We are now in PL4. Lots of starts, lots of fires ongoing at the present time. Precipitation, past 7 days, you can see most of it's been confined to the southern third or southern quarter of the area, depending on whether you're in Nevada or Utah, down to the Arizona Strip, but by and large, most of northern Nevada, northern Utah, Idaho, and even to parts of western Wyoming, precipitation amounts either absent or very light. And on the right actually is percent of normal. And what we've noticed here is not only are we drier than normal across Idaho and parts of northern Utah, but even southeast Utah is below normal for this time of year. Normally they're still in the monsoon, but they've only received about maybe 5 to 10% of their normal precipitation for this time of year in parts of eastern Utah. So that's a significant note there. Our ERCs, they've been kind of moderating a little bit and getting a little drier in eastern Utah, but it is in far northern Utah and especially in Idaho, where a lot of our ERCs now are surging to the red and dark red, 80th to 90th, even towards the 97th percentile, or exceeding it with the purple color through there. Here in Nevada, not quite as dry, but a significant factor here are the carryover light fuels from last year, still evident, especially along and north of I-80, being one of the main drivers of fire. Looking at some of our fuel conditions, actually these are ERCs, and we can see near record levels up here across the higher terrain of the Payette, going down to far south central Idaho. You can see through here also well above normal and near record levels. This is where we had recent lightning and where we will be seeing some winds the next few afternoons. And even down here towards Castle Country in the central eastern Utah, which was really rained out with the monsoon the last few weeks, they've picked up a little bit. They're near record levels. Of course, their records at this time of year are significantly lower than they would be in late June, but nonetheless, starting to dry out, and that could be the possibility for holdovers and maybe more starts. Satellite imagery shows high pressure, not the Four Corners high, but it's shifted over from Vegas down across about Death Valley, near record heat down there, and that's pretty hot. But the clockwise flow is stirring this moisture we see here over Utah gradually out of the area, so we should see drier air pushing in, thunderstorm activity becoming more and more sparse and further to the south and east the next few days. We see that on the moisture map here on the left. Not as much green in the map at all, so any thunderstorms probably isolated, not as much as recent days. Clockwise flow shifting it out, and with that clockwise flow, drier air starting to push in on the backside. With these tighter height lines through here in parts of Idaho, we do have a concern for winds funneling through the Snake River Plain, getting enhanced and maybe gusting near 30 miles per hour. You can see that through here. These olive shades to green indicate wind speeds of 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts, combined with humidity near or below 15%, and also some good carryover fuels in some of these areas from last year as well. Otherwise, bone dry, single digit humidity across a good portion of Nevada, in the teens across Idaho. Now for Saturday, the clockwise flow continues, starting to push in drier air. You see more tannish shades through here. We have no high risk yet, but we could see similar gusty winds up here in parts of Idaho, but things will be drying out. You see again humidity 15% or lower across a good portion of southern Idaho, single digits in Nevada, low to mid-teens across Utah, and again some good wind flow through here across parts of southeastern Idaho and the Snake River Plain. As we go into Sunday, again that high doesn't really shift too much, so similar story, still drying out, still warmer, drier than normal, moisture from the monsoon still to the south. Winds should be diminishing a little bit in most areas, but where they will be picking up is along and east of the Wasatch and downwind of the Uintas, downsloping northwest winds into the Uinta Basin. Could be gusting to 35 or even 40 miles per hour. Otherwise, lighter winds everywhere else. Humidities, again, mid-teens across Idaho and Utah, single digits across Nevada as the moisture dries out. Not much in the way of precipitation the next 3 days, just a couple of hundredths of an inch at most, maybe a tenth to a quarter of an inch in this darker green shade of the mountains of central Idaho. Now on Monday, we'll have to watch some moisture starting to work up from the south. We could see a return of some thunderstorms across parts of central and eastern Nevada. It is Tuesday, however, they'll have to watch some of this moisture surge going a bit further north into northeast Nevada and especially into our drier fuel areas of southern and central Idaho. If this pattern continues, this could be a pretty critical situation, because what is going to happen the next day is not only is there more moisture coming up with more lightning, but also the winds will be increasing. See this orange area through here, drier air, but the tight packing of the height lines is going to bring increasing winds into the Pacific Northwest on Wednesday and into Idaho, into northwest Nevada on Thursday. So if we get lightning and we get the wind across parts of Idaho and far northern Nevada, again, activity as active as it is now could be picking up even more. You can see by the end of the 7-day period how dry we are in most areas. Not much precipitation during that time period. Our 8 to 14 day outlook shows above normal temperatures, again centered across the southern half of the Great Basin. A drier than normal signal in our driest areas, Idaho, northern Nevada, northern Utah, and into western Wyoming. They will be steadily drying out there as well. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.